Yeah.
What the hell?
Looks like
All right,
Did
guys,
you-
here we go.
Did you lose big?
No, this is week 12. Flying high with the birds. Philadelphia Eagles talk. With me today, your Armenian Hammer.
Hi, guys.
I tell you, you better have an anvil ready with you tonight, Vahe. That was awful. We got Reverend Jem. What's
boys,
up? The
what's
Reverend.
going on? How are you?
Your brother told me to call you that. And in Washington Township, Will, what's up?
Yo, what's up, guys?
I'm Eddie Munster because I look like him. That's why I'm dressed like this. But honestly, who wants to, I don't want to look at you, Vahe, and say, you're an Eagles fan. I don't want anyone to look at me and say, you're an Eagles fan. I am 65 years old, and that is that might have been the worst game I ever saw. Now look at the scenario, okay? We all were at a wedding. Everything was great. One of us here got married. It was a beautiful day. Smoking cigars, pictures. Everything was looking rosy. Some of us stayed overnight at the hotel. Partook in a few beers at the bar. Come home the morning of, half an hour before 1 o'clock, sit down to watch the game. And then 2 hours later, I felt like crap. I mean, that was just awful. I have never seen an offensive performance like that. So
It wasn't the beer, by the way. It wasn't
a bit. Hey, the cigars were good though, right?
the guys was excellent.
It was very
That
mild.
was a great touch.
Yes. My
Very
wife was
classy.
a little upset.
Very classy.
My wife was upset that 3/4 of us were outside, but still, the men had a really good time. Right?
That was a great line by her. It was a great line.
Yes, it was,
Get
and it was a great.
Back to Saturday night. What a great time. You guys did a great job.
Yeah.
Welcome the family again, Will. We're honored
Yeah.
to have
Thanks,
have
guys.
you.
Thanks. I
Uncle
appreciate it.
Armin.
I was
Uncle
happy
Armin,
you guys were all there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. Uncle Armin, you and Aunt Marianne did an outstanding job. It was breathtaking, and you crushed it on that speech. And then
wow.
Vahe's got this podcast going places.
Hey,
All I kept hearing all night, Vahe's here.
yeah, I
Vahe's
know.
here.
You know, it was great.
No, the
I'll tell you-
speech was excellent. As a matter of fact, I told Armin the next day, I said, wow, who wrote that speech? It was very, very well done. And he said he took journalism class in college because that was honestly, I mean, besides the joke, a very well said speech. And it was impressive.
If
Yeah.
I would have known that the Eagles are going to put that output out there, my speech would not have been anywhere near as good as it was. That's how confident I was they were going to win. But what was even more important was there was about maybe 10 of us at the cigar table, and a couple guys are talking and we're bringing up the podcast. I didn't realize at that point that there were people there that actually listen or watch it. And then Vahe comes over. I didn't introduce him. I just said, all I said to him was, Vahe, these are the mild ones. These are the medium ones. And you hear about 5 of them go, oh, you're Vahe. And one of them, the Armenian Hammer. And then
Come on,
we're
guys, let's go
outside
back to
saying-
the subject matter. Let's go back to the subject matter, the Eagles.
Yes, okay, but real quick, let's go to this drag of a game. The Eagles fall to 5-7 with the loss to the New York Giants, 13-7. Jalen Hurts with easily his worst game by far as an Eagle. It goes 14 for 31, 124 yards, no TDs, 3 picks, 2 of them inside the Giant 5, and a passer rating of 17, if you could believe that. As a team, yeah, but as a team, they ran for 208 yards, averaging 6.3 yards a carry, which is really good. Jake Elliott didn't even attempt the field goal. Well, I know you don't like talking about him, but unfortunately, we're going to talk about him tonight. Jalen Reagor drops. He cannot hold on to actually 3 catchable balls. One was a potential 4th down conversion earlier in the game. And then there was the 2 at the very end of the game that he dropped, and one with his eyes closed to possibly win the game. A crushing loss is going to be Jack Driscoll. He's going to be out for the season with an ankle injury. So we got to talk about who's going to replace him at right tackle. And here's an interesting line. And we didn't realize this. The Giants actually play with their 3 top receivers. They didn't play with Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, and their tight end Kyle Rudolph. They're their 3 top receivers. So they still beat them, even though they only scored 13 points without most of their skill players there. And then lastly, Giants DC Patrick Graham had a really, really good game plan versus the Eagles. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's start. I'll tell you what, I'll start it with Vahe. And then we're going to go around the horn here. Let's try to break down Hurts's flaws on Sunday. Like we know what he can do. Let's talk about what he did not do on Sunday. We'll start it with you, Vahe, and we'll go around the horn.
The biggest thing he didn't do is see the wide open receivers or the tight ends. And I don't know whether because his vision was blocked or he was too hesitant or he was too nervous, whatever it was. The thing is that he didn't see his best players, skill players, and throw the ball to them. I mean, he only had one throw to Devontae Smith, and I think there was one to Goddard, right? And there was like 7 of them to Rigger. So I don't know what he's thinking. The only thing I can think is that maybe it was a defensive scheme of the Giants. Basically, try to take away Devontae Smith and Goddard and tell him, you know what, dude, go and get the completions with Rigger or whoever else is out there. That's the only thing I can think about, because otherwise, basically, it doesn't make sense. The best players not getting any balls thrown them in that direction, and you get Rigger getting 7, throws towards him.
Yeah. How do you feel, Jimmy?
He needs to be benched. He's done nothing all year. And
It's so funny. Somebody was saying that they looked back at his college scout report. They said he was a dynamic and fast runner. Well, one of his flaws was dropping balls. How can you get a wide receiver in the LFL be dropping balls off your weakness? So what else? I mean, obviously he can't run anymore anyway.
Well, one of the big things was that he would double catch a ball. Like he wasn't catching it firmly. He was double catching the ball. But I know we started this with Hurts and we're going to Rigger, which I knew we were going to do. But did anyone hear what Seth Joyner had to say on the post-game show? That was so funny.
He thinks he's catching that beach ball or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the last catch, the last pass was very catchable. The one before that would have been a really good catch because he lost his balance. He didn't have very, very good hand-eye coordination, but he actually had his eyes closed when the ball was coming down right at his hands. But you're right, Jimmy. The one that was at him right at the goal line where his back was to the goal post, his hands were out like this, like he was holding the beach ball. And the lights are too bright for that guy. So I don't know what you think, Will.
He sucks. I mean, that's it. He just sucks. He should have never been a first-round pick, and we got to live with it. Howie needs to come up and just say he made a mistake because it's really hurting this team. But honestly, as mad as I want to be about him, Hurts sucks just as bad too. He's still staring at guys down the field, throwing into double coverage. I've never seen a quarterback throw into double and triple coverage more than this guy. And now I think it's everybody knows what to do against him. The Giants, all they were doing is having their linebackers, as soon as he wants to roll out, leave your coverage, just take him out. Don't let him run the ball. Their safety, Love, he said in the press conference after the game, all we wanted to do was make Jalen Hurts throw the ball. That's it. Exactly. The guy can't throw the ball. He can't.
Yeah, well, I know that one of the things that they did when I watched it was that they had single high safety most of the time, and the strong safety was always on the side of the tight end. So every time that Goddard did his out pattern, they would kind of bracket him in coverage where somebody was behind him and the slot and the nickel back was actually had him in the front. So we couldn't throw to him. And they had Smith doubled a lot too. And I think that's where Hurts really got confused more than anything. And
I did see Smith double teamed a lot, but he was also running free a lot. And there was he should have had a touchdown to Greg Ward in the end zone. He threw way too far to the outside. That cost us.
That's a tough. Well, let me tell you something. If you watch that play, I watched that play 10 times, Will. The primary receiver to me looked like it was Goddard because he was lined up on the left and he did a crossing pattern. I don't remember what receiver was coming on the other side. It was almost like a pick play. He was open in the middle of the field. Hurts was looking at him, but he had a small window to throw to, but it was one of those plays where you had to throw it at the right time, and he didn't. He waited a second, then he was covered, then he had to scramble to the right. I think Hurts' biggest problem is he can't throw into a tight window on a split second, and hopefully that'll come with time of just doing it over and over and over again. But I mean, if you look at Hurts' flaws, I mean, this was really a bad game. I mean, he didn't like the pre-snap disguise. He kept getting confused. To me, it looked like the Giants were when they blitzed, they had both the defensive backs blitz from the outside or sometimes a linebacker, but most of the time it seemed like they blitzed from the edge. And they were fine with Hurts running up the middle of the field.
Yeah, they were hitting him on
they would give
play.
him those yards. Yeah, I agree. But does he need more time? Does he need a whole season, then an off season to try to get this together so that he can be a better thinking quarterback next year? I don't know.
The thing is that coming back to the issue of they ran for 240 yards, right? So obviously they were able to run. And that goes back to Sirianni. If you see your quarterback is struggling, throwing the ball or seeing players wide open or seeing the players open, period, right? Why don't you change the game plan and go back to running? And you play the best running game against the best run defense, and you scored, I don't know how many, 30 points or something. Why you go back to throwing the ball, which is not his strength anyway?
Hey, I'm with you on this. I really am. I'm with you on this 100%. We got to run the ball. But think about this. You're telling your coach, you make a game plan to win a game by just running the ball. Like, you basically have to know in your head that this guy can't throw the ball. We only have to run. How are we going to win every week just by running the ball? Like this, it reminds me of the 49ers when they went to the NFC Championship a few years ago. Garoppolo threw the ball 9 times in the game because they knew he's not a good passer. They had to run the ball. And you know what? They still lost. And you can't, I feel for Sirianni. I almost feel bad for him because you got to coach this whole season knowing that we got to run the ball 40, 50 times a game. It's 2021. We rushed for 200 and something yards, and we scored 7 points against the Giants. Like, this is horrible.
I think if anything, it reiterates that you're not going to win with Hurts on. You're going to have to win by running the ball or playing to his strengths.
Yeah. Also, well, the thing is that you have to play the hand this is what you have. You only have Hurts. You don't have anybody else.
Yes.
This season, you have to make whatever you have available. Next season, it's a different story. But right now, the guy cannot throw the ball. So
well, it was interesting.
What are you going to do? Are you going to get a quarterback, or are you going to, is he your guy? You're going to win with running the ball. They have to decide what they're going to do.
What did we say 2 weeks ago when we talked about the draft? Load up on defense. Load up on defense. So we're thinking that he's the guy. So it's almost like every week, is he the guy? He's the guy. We don't know if he's the guy. He's not the guy. He is the guy. We don't know. My thinking is, I think he's a very talented player, and I think he can be a very good passing quarterback in this league. We know how good he is running the ball. My feeling is that, the biggest thing that you got to try to work on when you go from college to pro is the speed of the game. I think he has adapted easily to the speed of the game from a running perspective. It's like he's been playing in the league for years. But when it comes to passing, that's a little different story. I don't think he thinks quick. He thinks quick when he runs. I don't think he can think quick when he throws, if that makes any sense. And hopefully that'll come over time. But I think he's very talented. He's a very talented quarterback. Let me go to Jimmy real quick. Jason Kelsey was out for a series or two. They had like a 95-yard drive that almost ended in a touchdown, and there were a couple penalties there. How valuable is this guy? How valuable is he? Like, how unvaluable is it to the team when he's not in there?
He's the spark. He's how they go. He's out there on the field. He leads by example. He dominates that line. He's rarely ever hurt. He's what gets his team going. I think he's their He's their true leader. I mean, he's been on the team, what, 10 years now? Is it 10 years?
Almost. Yeah,
I
maybe.
mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be a coach one day. He leads by example out there. He leaves everything out on the field. And I believe people follow in his footsteps. People want to play with a guy like that. He makes everybody around him better. And he gets the city. That's the best. He's the perfect person to play in Philadelphia. He's like a Bryce Harper type athlete.
Yeah,
He gets he knows what the city wants: hard work, blue collar, comes to work every single day, loves the fans. He knows what it takes to play here, unlike the basketball player, right, Will?
Right here.
Well, I mean, all I want to say is that they would have won the game, I think, if he was in for that series, because Boston Scott scored that touchdown, and his replacement, Herbert, actually got hit for a holding call, and then they went back, and then they still almost scored because they had the ball 1st and goal after Rieger made one good catch, but down by the end zone, but they still couldn't get in. And I still am questioning those 3 plays that they ran in that series. I think that the last play just was an abomination of sorts more than anything. So, I'm just thinking, since we've already been on for about 20 minutes here, you want to put him on real quick? Let's get him on. Let's give him his 5 minutes of fame. We got a New York Giants fan here who was at the game, and we busted his, should I say, balls?
Oh, he's going to join us to brag?
No, I guess we're going to give him his 5 minutes, okay? Because he did say one thing that made sense. He said, we're really good defensively on the edges. That's exactly what he said to me at the wedding. And that's exactly what killed Hurts. They blitzed from the edges, linebackers or cornerbacks, and I think they confused Hurts more than anything. He always wants to run to the outside, I think, and he just I think he kind of got like a little lost here. So hopefully you told him that we're only going to give him a few minutes. Oh, he can stay on. He could stay on.
He's gonna call in soon.
Yeah, so, okay. It's all good.
I think he's working right now, but
yeah, it's all good. But we can talk. We'll talk.
He's logging in right now. So
he's logging in. Okay. Yeah. So we'll give him his 5 minutes because I did bust the stones at the wedding. And then the only thing he said to me was something that really did make a lot of sense, and it's exactly what happened. So I thought for that we should give him his few minutes of fame here. Who knows? He may be a new internet sensation when this is over. We'll have
it.
No, it's crazy. My brother-in-law wanted the Giants to lose too. So it's like they don't even want to win.
Yeah, but I mean, but you know what? They had so many chances to win that game, and the Giants they're not that good a team.
They're terrible.
They're a bad team. They're a bad team. They played as good as they can play with the talent that they had, but they had nobody on offense. Nobody. They had nobody. And Saquon Barkley is not the same running back that he was when he was a senior at Penn State. That knee injury, I think, has made him only 70% of the player that he is right now. Yeah. He just doesn't seem to have the same explosion that he had when he first came into the NFL.
Same thing with Miles Sanders too. He's not as fast as he was before.
Look at this. He's got the stadium behind him. Oh my God.
The doctor is in the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like the background might be, yes, it is. It's MetLife Stadium. Do you guys believe this? Oh my God. Tejal, we're going to give you your 5 minutes of fame here because I, for one, busted your stones that they had no chance of winning because we're going to break down your offensive and defensive line. You told me one thing, and that thing happened on Sunday. You said that they're really good on the edges, and that's exactly how they beat Hurts this week. So just give me your interpretation of the game since you were there.
Yeah, so just to give you guys an idea, this is the victory formation from last week's, from this past game. So I just want you to remember because, I was at this beautiful wedding, new cousins, other people were getting married, great venue, great food, great music, great people. And then I have all these people coming up to me saying just like, you got the Giants this week. You guys are going to lose. You guys are going to fire your coach, fire this, fire that, fire whatever. And look, the last thing that we lit on fire was Jalen Hurts, God, oh my goodness. Like, my guy can't throw the ball to save his life. I mean, even save his career. Like, those interceptions, like, he threw, like, to nobody. I mean, we were wearing all white, and you could see where we were. He was seeing ghosts.
Probably.
Sam
Tejo,
Darnold.
let me ask you something, Tejo. What is the perspective on Jalen Hurts outside of an Eagles fan?
So, one thing I have some other friends who are Dallas fans. One might be in the chat. I have some other friends who are like, just we see Jalen Hurts, we see him as a dynamic, runner. He can do obviously great things with his feet. But accuracy wise, not great passing. I mean, some of the decisions he made were that pick at the end of the first half, like, you could have easily got 3. You could have matched us, and then you had the ball in the second half. The last thing you do is throw a turnover. Like, you can throw an incomplete and still get the field goal, but
the player fell down. I mean, I don't know if you saw that. The player right before.
He fell down,
He fell
but
down.
still, that ball was nowhere near if he was standing up. So I don't know. It was one of those things, but we see that. I think it's an interesting stat that the Eagles are since 1941, 383 teams have rushed for 200 plus yards and lost. So that's a lot for like in a single game. So that's not that many, games. And Eagles were one of those teams that did that. You guys rushed the ball well. You guys did over 200 yards, but those turnovers, man, those are killer.
Oh, no doubt about it.
All those turnovers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But I think your defensive coordinator really did a great job of. He did 2 things. He as we were talking before you got on. They took away Goddard, who was the one big receiver, because they were bracketing him with the safety the entire game, and they were actually doubling him from in front and in back. But the way that he was able to he blitzed your corners or linebackers, I would say maybe 15, 20% of the time from the outside, from the edges. And they let Hurts get whatever he needed up the middle of the field. But Hurts is effective when he gets around the outside, and he wasn't able to do that. And I think that had a lot to do with, I think the game planning by your defensive coordinator was very good. Your defensive coordinator out-coached our offensive coordinator without a doubt.
Yeah, Patrick Graham is good for basically he bends but doesn't break. So you get a lot of yards on us. But then when it comes down to like that red zone, I think we're one of the best red zone defenses. And just clamp down when you need to. You get those turnovers in the red zone when you need to. And our edges are something that can do a lot better. I mean, we're not the best. We're known for maybe more of our interior guys, but I think Jalen Hurts had 77 yards rushing. Like that's nothing to sleep on. But I think we kind of forced him to throw the ball, and we had our cornerbacks blanket your receivers. I mean, Devonta Smith only had 2 catches, 22 yards or something like that. But we had our number 2 and our number 3 cornerbacks get injured. We were playing our 4th and 5th string by the second half at the end of the game, and somehow, I mean, you guys threw that ball to Rager, so I don't know how you guys feel about him. You could have got Justin Jefferson, right? So
yeah, we know, but I don't know. I'm sure you're also aware that you were missing your 3 top receivers too.
Yeah.
You didn't have Tony. You didn't have
Didn't
Shepard.
have Tony. Didn't have Tony.
And Rudolph.
Shepard. Yep. So we had a lot of big safety blankets that didn't happen. But I don't know if you guys saw the recent news, but somehow Daniel Jones strained his neck early during the game, and he might not even play.
They signed
this next coming game.
Yeah, they signed Jake Fromm from the old Georgia quarterback. They took him off. I'll tell you what, he was a good quarterback at Georgia.
He's good at Georgia. Yeah,
I can see him sticking. I think the one problem now is that I don't think we're going to win with Mike Glennon as our quarterback, no matter how good our defense is. So I don't know if you guys saw the recent Tankathon picks from 1 to 10. It's it's like who is it? Some random. It's like the Detroit somebody, and then it's like the Jets pick. Then the next it's the Jets. Then it's the Giants. Then it's the Giants, and then it's the Eagles, and then it's like it's like the funniest looking thing I've ever seen.
I just saw that, so I start following the draft. And when we start following the draft, and I saw exactly what you were talking about. It's like Jets, Giants, somebody else, Giants, Eagles, somebody
Yeah.
Eagles. It's like, whoa, like
How many times like in a draft do you ever have like you don't have to trade down because it's like you're on there and then you get the next pick? Like that's incredible.
Never had.
they had like
And one
nine
of the problems we have is that our general manager, Howie Roseman, doesn't know anything. He just he pretends he knows anything, and then that's what he does. I mean, whether you had the first pick or you had the 15th pick, it doesn't really matter, you know.
Do you think it's him or do you think it's the scout team?
for the owner.
No, I think, well, that's a very good question. And we talked about that a lot last year. I think the scouting, I think the scouts are Roseman's guys. And he listens to what the scout says, but he likes to be, I think he's the type of guy where he wants to be the guy that takes credit for everything. But I also think he's a yes man to Laurie as well, because Laurie also wants to make the final decision. So we all want to know who made the pick on, on J-Jaw. We all kind of figure who made that pick because, his dad knows Laurie real well. And then the pick on this goofball that we got last year, Rager. So, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we're going to let you go. We figured we'd give you your 5 minutes of fame. Get the hell out of here, Angel. But thanks a lot. Thanks a lot so much. And by the way, your head was blocking the entire victory formation, so we didn't really get a chance to see it. So,
Angel, Christmas party, a few weeks. I don't know if
There
you
you
guys
go.
know that, but
Yeah, we'll be there.
Angel's
go.
a great singer. So
Yes, he
I'll
is.
Just wait to
sing,
hear you
I'll
on the
sing,
mic.
I'll DJ, I'll do it all.
all right, good deal. All right,
All right,
thanks
well,
again,
for having me
Tejal.
on. I'll see
See
You
you
ya,
got
guys.
it,
Tejal.
pal. Take care. We'll take a real quick break for Kitchen World. Is your kitchen or bathroom outdated or in serious need of repair? Since 1987, we at Kitchen World offer the latest in custom, semi-custom, and even stock cabinetry. Our designers offer the absolute best in custom design, right down to the exquisite molding details. That's Kitchen World, with showrooms in Philadelphia, Bucks, and Montgomery County. Call Burton to set up an appointment at 267-228-9875, or check us out at kitchen-worldinc.com. How's that for an intro?
Excellent.
All right, let's go to, does anybody really give a damn about this week's game?
I'll be on a flight, so I'm not even gonna catch it.
you're picking the right time to get out of town.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I'm just so I want to see how they bounce back. That's like we've talked all year on this podcast. We just want to see improvement. So show me something Sunday. Go up there and beat this team 31-13. Put a smile on everybody's face. Let us forget about this past week. It's going to be growing pains on the line. They're an average to below average team, in my opinion. But let's go up there Sunday, make a statement. Go into the bye on a positive note, and get ready for the I guess it's 5 games after that.
Yeah.
Now,
That's what I want to say.
what do you guys think? Jalen Hurts suffered some type of ankle injury, and he's not. It looked like he wasn't able to run as much. And today they said he was, not 100%. And tomorrow they're not sure if he's going to be practicing. I think there was a report saying they're not even sure if he's going to play this week. If his ankle's not 100%, do you guys think, it's smart to even start him if really, the main thing he does is run?
For me, it's more important. Is Jordan Howard going to start?
That's the question, because they're going to run the ball.
Jalen Hurts is
So-
Jordan playing.
Yes. So I think whoever's quarterback is just going to turn around and hand it to the guy, because let's see, the Jets are 29th in rushing defense. They average giving up 128 yards a game, but they're 30th against the pass. So defensively, they're awful. And apparently they have a head coach that was a defensive coordinator in the past, at Robert Saleh. Tell me he doesn't look like Mr. Clean.
He does.
I mean, every time I look at him, it looks like that guy in a bottle that when I open it up and I clean like my bathroom. But he was a good defensive coordinator, but they just don't again, they don't have the players. They've drafted pretty bad. I don't think, to me, it's going to matter who is behind center, because I think the plan is that they're going to run the ball at least 40 times.
Oh, they should run the ball 40 times. Not they're going to run. They should.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree. But,
And
you know,
hopefully Howard's back, like you said, that's, he puts people on their ass and he gets 15 yards after that.
well,
And
here's
he
a
wears the defense out.
Here's a question for you, Will. Let's just say that Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback this year, because I know that's where you're going here. Okay. I saw some tape on him. He's not a running quarterback. By no means is he dual threat, but he reads his progressions well. So I don't know if he will be a good quarterback for this scheme in the next couple of weeks. Let's say he plays good. I don't know. I mean, what's your feeling if they end up going with him?
Well, first of all, Gardner Minshew, I don't by any stretch think he could be a future for the Eagles. I don't. But the reason why I'd like to see him is because I'd like to see how Sirianni coaches with a quarterback that can throw the ball. I know Gardner Minshew, just as well as any other, probably Greg Ward, can take a snap and hand the ball off to Jordan Howard or Miles Sanders. But I'd like to just see what type of offense we could have with a quarterback that's, mediocre, that can throw the ball. That's really why I'd like to see it. And if on the first drive he goes down the field and throws a touchdown, the city of Philadelphia is going to go nuts,
Like they normally do.
Yeah.
Bahe, what's the question here? What's the early line on the game?
I'm glad you asked that question. Eddie Munster. Actually, the line opened at 7 points. And when you guys mentioned about his ankle, I went back to see what it is. It's down to 6.5. Still, it's a high number for potentially your quarterback not being playing, But tells you basically is that it doesn't really matter. if it only dropped by half a point and your starting quarterback could be out and you're back to start, it's not a good reflection on what people think about Jalen Hurts. That's what I have to say.
That's a good point. Yeah, I agree. Jimmy.
6.5 points now.
Yeah, but still, to me, that doesn't mean too much. But Jimmy, speaking of that, like we talked last week, it could be a trap game. Okay. The Giants game was a trap game. Is it possible to have 2 trap games in a row?
No, I think they're going to come up and be fired up for this game on Sunday, or at least I hope they're going to be.
I know, Navaje, I'm gonna say something real quick. You heard it from me. Jimmy, are you telling me that there is a possibility you might be taking the Eagles this week? Is that possible?
We'll have to wait to find out. Stay tuned, right? Stay tuned, right?
I guess he picks last this week. No, he picks first. He's going to pick first.
We're getting more followers now.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Jim. I think that I don't think it matters who they're going to play this week. I think they're going to really ground and pound. But, hey, who's playing right guard this week? Is it going to be Herbig?
Be Herbig, right?
Yeah, let's talk about the mystery man here, Brandon Brooks. I mean, what do you have? Pec injury since week 1. He was due to come back week 8.
They said they're not gonna reevaluate it until after the bye week. So he's at least out for another 2 this week and the bye week.
See, I was thinking out loud here too. Like, I guess we'll find out more about this Hurts injury. Now, going into the bye, do you think if it's anything, that he can't walk or whatever, they may just sit him? Maybe they just sit him, give him an
extra week.
Yeah, that's I just started thinking that as we had the conversation about,
He might never see the field again.
Oh, I don't.
No, I wouldn't go there. I do think he's a starting quarterback in this league. I do.
Ooh.
But Hurts. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Well, every week it's different. Like he's great, he's not good. But I have to admit, last week I I just couldn't believe how everything, he was inaccurate. He wasn't looking off receivers. When he threw that pick in the double coverage down the field of Reagor, and to be honest with you, Reagor, I think, was going to beat his man on that play. But he waited too long, and the strong safety had a chance to come up and intercept the pass. And if you looked at the play in slow motion again, you looked at his eyes, they showed you his eyes. He didn't look at any other receivers. So he has flaws. It seems like he's working on them and he's getting through them. And then he just comes back to the same thing again. So, I don't know. Like, I watched the Green Bay game after that, and Rodgers was like, the guy would do an out and he would just flick the ball real quick before the guy even made his break. I don't see Hurts doing that. And he doesn't wind up. He just throws the ball. He throws it like it's a whip almost. I just don't know. Is Hurts not able to do that?
He's slow to think almost when he's passing the ball, but why is he staring at a guy with two guys on him and still thinking in his head that he can fit the ball? Like, look for somebody else or just run. Like, I don't understand why so many times he's thrown into double and triple coverage.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It would be the case that probably he doesn't know how to read the defense either. I mean, the mistakes that he was making was so obvious that, wow, what are you thinking? And maybe he wasn't really thinking, right? That play before the halftime, he started rolling to the right, right? Everybody knows that he likes to roll to the right, and he was rolling to the right. The whole team, the whole defense was on that side. There was nobody open, right?
There was a guy open.
But
Goddard was open, crossing from left to right. He was open for a split second, and it was a tight window, and he did not take advantage. He just choked. And
maybe he didn't see him.
I think that, but he was up in the pocket. He moved up in the pocket. Then he scrambled to the right on that play. As soon as, it's funny, as soon as he scrambled to the right, you knew he wasn't going to complete the pass, and he threw it right in the coverage because that's where all the coverage was. So I don't know. I just think that he doesn't think.
I still think that his height plays a role in seeing the whole field all the time. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't see it most of the time, but there are certain situations he doesn't see it well enough to see somebody is momentarily. And that's a problem with his height. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
That's true. But,
I mean, all these guys, before we started, I was looking at the numbers. I mean, their heights, they're all 6'5", 6'6", except for Kelsey, 6'3". And he's 6'1" max.
Yeah, but what about Drew Brees? Drew Brees is 6 foot, barely 6 foot. He was able to do it for years.
Yeah, but he was always about running and then trying to open the lanes in front of him so he can see things. He was never, your traditional drop back quarterback.
Yeah, but he was also great stepping up into the pocket when the pocket opens up and he can see. He steps up, but he just takes off.
That's so true, Will. I mean, Brees climbed the ladder better than hardly any quarterback. But the other thing about Brees is that he played tall. Remember when he would be in the pocket, he was always erect. And I remember he had said that he felt taller when he stood up with his head up in the air.
Yeah. Like I don't know if you guys also noticed this while watching the game, but the defensive ends were pushing straight up the field, only about 4 or 5 yards, and then falling back off into the gaps. So when Hurts would try to escape through the middle, they were just crushing him.
He took a couple big hits.
Yeah, he did. Well, he does that a lot of times. All right, we're basically down to the end here. Let's do our predictions for last week. Will, let me just put it to you this way.
So ashamed of myself.
The Eagles scored 30 points less than what you predicted last week. 37-9. Vahe, 30-10. I was 21-10. Jimmy picked the Giants 28-24. So that means that Jimmy obviously wins, and him and the Armenian Hammer, I believe, are now tied at 3 apiece. Am I right? 3 apiece, and Will and I have 1 apiece.
No, Jimmy 4,
yeah,
right?
I think Jimmy's got 4.
He's got 4. Oh, that's right. It was 3 before today. So Jimmy's up to 4. So with that, without further ado, the Reverend will pick first this week?
I'm going with the Eagles to bounce back in a big way,
Oh.
28-14.
Welcome back, Reverend.
I'm hoping for a big game. I'm hoping they show us some character and
Oh
bounce
my
back.
God, I can't believe I'm hearing this. Okay. Bye.
No, I think it's going to be much closer. The fact that basically Hurts has an ankle issues, he's not going to be able to run, and that's going to limit their explosiveness. And also, I don't know whether Jordan Howard is back or not. So I think the score is going to be much closer than that. I would say maybe, I don't know, 13-10.
13.
Yeah.
Another bad game, you're saying?
That wasn't trap game. That was basically that the execution, and then and they don't.
I think it's over. It's all over. The blueprint is out. It's over. I'm going 17-10 Jets. That's if Hurts plays. If Gardner Minshew plays, we're winning.
No, you got to pick a
down.
score. You got to, it's 17-10 Jets, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going 20-14 Eagles. Okay. So we're 4 Jimmy's got 4, Vahe's got 3, Will and I have 1. And any final thoughts? I'm going to start off with one real quick. They had a real interesting stat. In the last 7 games, Rieger and J-Jaw have 9 receptions between them. The number 1 draft pick from last year and the number 2 draft pick from 3 years ago. 9 receptions in 7 games. That is unbelievable. And I think Ward probably has maybe 3, 4 at tops. So they got 5 wide receivers on the team, right? 5 wide receivers, and they only got 3. Why don't they at least bring up Hightower? Put him in there. I don't get it. What about the possibility? I know you hate Rieger so much, but what about the possibility of putting him in the slot? Do you think that might help?
They got to do something for him to get his confidence going. I don't know if it's a couple of short balls to him or what, but they have to. I mean, they have to do something to get his confidence going, or he's pretty much worthless. I mean, I've had no faith with him since day one, and I think it's just going to crush us for the next 10 years because Jefferson's going to be doing his thing in Minnesota, and we're going to be left wondering what could have been when everybody in Philly knew to pick.
It's so funny. Listening to Sirianni, he says he's an explosive player. And I'm wondering, which game is he watching? I mean, that if you look at the Giants, they intentionally punt the ball, within the 10-yard line because they know that Rieger's not going to shit with it. So the end zone, they keep it into like 5 yards so they can catch it and run maybe 5 yards and get the ball at the 10-yard line. That was their plan. They know what the guy cannot do anything. So the fact that basically they say he's an explosive player, I don't know which, videos he's watching.
Yeah, I would, he's a terrible route runner and he's really not a good, he can't catch the ball.
He's not fast either. Either.
No,
he's really not.
He's very fast, but he's not football fast.
Yeah.
I think the lights are too bright for him. That's the problem.
I would still put him in the slot. I honestly wouldn't go to other guys just because I don't think they're going to give you anything either. I'd put him in the slot. I'd put J-Jaw actually at tight end, give him some looks there because I think he would be much better suited. But also, I mean, you got to go back to the quarterback too. You got to give the quarterback some blame why none of these receivers are getting any catches. I don't care how bad they are. We've seen year after year practice squad players come up and make plays. Somebody's got to get them the ball, but we're also not throwing the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
On a happier note, Wentz threw an interception and they lost the game.
Don't start, Vahe.
That was with the 10 seconds left to tie the game at the end.
Yeah. And then they lost the game.
Yeah, well, that was good.
Look, that was a good game. That was a good game.
I think
What
this
about
is
Miles Sanders on Sunday? What was the deal with that? Did they bench him?
no, he was hurt. He tweaked his
got
ankle.
hurt.
Yeah.
Was that official that he tweaked it, or because
No, he came up limping after that one play down the right sideline.
we never saw him? That's
He
what I
came
was-
back. No, he did
made
come
a
back for
hard-
a little bit.
He made a hard cut, and I saw his ankle kind of roll over. But all game, like the whole first half, dude, he was hitting the holes really hard.
Yeah, that's what I
being
thought, too.
really effective.
Yeah. Yeah. So was Boston Scott too. And I think Kenny Gainwell's got to start getting some reps. I mean, he's really good out of the backfield. I think they got to find, that last drive down the field, he had 3 catches in a row?
Yeah,
I mean,
in a
he's really
row.
good with the football in his hand.
Yeah.
And he's good around the goal line. So
And he-
Yeah,
He
but
was smart to get out of bounds, too.
the defense is also playing back because they just don't want to give up a score. So
That's
they were
true.
just taking advantage of the easy flats.
Yeah, no, that's true. So last thing, Singleton, you think he did a good job in Taylor's absence at linebacker?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
think he
he
did good.
well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have no complaints about the defense. Honestly, I know you give Fletcher Cox a lot of shit. I think he actually played his best game.
I think Barnett played his best game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Barnett played really good. He plays really hard, and he kept the edge the entire time. He made a couple of really big plays. Cox had 2 plays, and he still most of the time gets single blocked. So
Where
I don't know. I mean, listen, when you see a defensive lineman have a great play, it's the first thing is that he had a great game. I just think that if you look at Barnett this game, and actually the last game too, he gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He still does a lot of bonehead things, but he still does play very hard. And they're actually talking about giving him an extension next year. And if they do, there is no way in God's green earth that he's getting anything like he's getting this year. Nothing.
No.
10
But-
million, that's not happening. He's
What-
going to look to see who else will be offering, something for him.
Where's
So-
Josh Sweat been since we paid him? I haven't seen him make a play in weeks. I feel like where's he been? Derek Barnett's been probably the best defensive lineman other than Hargrave
Yeah.
for the last 3 weeks.
No, I agree. No,
So-
I agree.
Hopefully we bounce back on Sunday. I'm
Yeah.
banking on it.
It's
Yeah.
over, Jim. It's over.
I wasn't big on them going into this year, but I think they're going to hopefully they have a good game Sunday. Hopefully. It'll show a lot of character, bounce back.
It's so funny, like Howie, when they traded Ertz, he said that why we have right now a guy named Tyree Jackson.
Yeah.
9, he's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be unbelievable. Yes, he is unbelievable. I haven't seen him play, or maybe.
What number does he wear?
Yeah. Number 80. He said that the day after he traded Ertz to the Cardinals.
Yes, that basically is that.
Yeah, then Ertz had I think he had 2 touchdowns that next week. Or no, he had the
Exactly.
65-yard touchdown, then 2 touchdowns a couple weeks after that. Yeah, he's going to be a big star, all right. They
Hasn't
found
he had
him.
any catches?
I don't think he does. I don't think he has any catches. So, well, he's going up to New York, and that's where Flacco was right now. Flacco and him were Flacco was always thrown to him all the time. So maybe, who knows? Maybe the Jets will end up trading for him. Maybe they'll give him a 1st-round pick. All right, we've been on for a while here. We're going to close it up here. That completes week 12, flying high with the Birds, Philadelphia Eagles talk. We will talk to you next week. See you guys later.
Later,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.